to episode 26. This is the Hello, It's Me, IAmKNicole podcast, and I'm your host, Kori Nicole. So we are just going to jump right in. I'm feeling very much like we're going to just skip the recap today, y'all, because listen, there's not much to recap. Okay, we're back. I'm here. Hello, it's me. We are filming a podcast today, and it is my birthday month. It is my birthday season, and your girl is celebrating. So that's the recap. It's turn up time. Period. It's Pisces season, okay? So today we are celebrating. We're just celebrating my birthday on the podcast. So thank you for joining me. And I have my best friend in the building today. My girl Zarea is here. And this is her show today, honestly. She said she got some questions for me. I'm a little scared. I told her she gonna host the show today because I don't got nothing. But apparently, today is all about me. We're gonna be talking about me. So
exactly,
we're just gonna let her introduce herself again, because in case you forgot who she is,
which is impossible.
But for the new people, let's say that
exactly. For the new people. So for those who are new, thank you so much for tuning in. I am Zarea K. Instagram is Zarea_K. I am the owner of IAmKNicole and recently started doing IAmKNicole for men. So introducing men's clothing. So that is me. Hello,
it's me.
So as Kori stated, we are most definitely going to be talking about Kori because outside of her podcast, I feel like a lot of people don't really know Kori, only like really in the vlogs where she shows everything that she's doing. But in the podcast, it's mainly like Smudge, or sometimes she has other guests. So I feel like today, since she's celebrating another year of life, we should talk about her things, such as hardships, successes, and so forth like that.
I'm scared.
So you shouldn't be scared.
I got my wine. Exactly. Wine. Cheers. No. Cheers to 24 years. Cheers to 24 years of life. We made it to another year, man.
Exactly. So since she is saying cheers, every year or every day really should be a celebration. So with that being said, you have reached another year of experiences, life lessons. So first question is, what are a couple, if not one, life lessons that you've learned?
In my whole life, or just this past year?
Whole life. This is another year. So
my whole life. Okay, what is a lesson that I have learned? I done learned a lot of lessons in life. Today is a perfect example. I think one of the main things that I have been working on is that, everything happens for a reason, trying to like really let myself know that I'm not always going to be in control. Like everything is not always going to happen the way I think it's going to happen or the way I want it to happen. And, I just have to learn. I have to keep learning. Like, I feel like I've done better with it, but, I have my little moments. I just have to learn, like, just relax. She teaches me that. Relax, everything's fine. You're still alive. It's going to be great. But just knowing, like, things happen for a reason, and I don't know what that reason is, and usually I find out later, and I'm like, dang, wow, okay, yeah, that's really why that happened. Usually, most of the time, it's like something better will come out of the situation, and, I realize now that I'm just here really to learn and to grow, so everything that happens is kind of like a full experience for me. I was supposed to get something out of that. I was supposed to learn something, or there was something better in store for me where, something crazy had to happen for me to get to that place. So I think that's a big lesson for me. That's a big thing that your girl has learned. And I'm working on it. I'm still working on it. I learned the lesson. I get it. I get the concept. I know what's supposed to happen, but I'm trying to, work on those initial feelings and those initial reactions and how I deal with those things in the moment. But your girl learned. I learned the hard way most of the times. That's okay.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with learning, because at the end of the day, you learn something new every day.
Right.
So given that today was a prime example in how you handled it, although I was here.
Girl.
How would you...
Child.
What advice would you give to someone that is in a situation like that, since Would you remove yourself? Because some people either remove themselves or they just react in that situation and they're just flustered for the whole day. So how would you go about a situation that is just that just gave you an unexpected turn?
Mm. Honestly, I really try hard not to let things like consume me for the whole day, because I just feel like, my time is precious, my energy is precious. Like for me to put my energy into something, it got to be worth it. So I just feel like I try to not really remove myself for like the whole day, but I try to like give myself that space to like, calm down or whatever, like whatever I need to do to just like get my mind back in the right headspace, I guess. I just be like, look, if I need a minute, like if I need to step outside for a second, breathe some fresh air, give me 10 and I'm good. I try to do stuff like that. Like I try not to dwell on it for the whole day, because then I know later I will regret that. Like, dang, you really like wasted a whole day. Like you could have been doing something else. You could have been putting your energy somewhere else. And you know how I am. I keep myself busy, and I feel guilty a lot when I'm doing something that I don't feel like is productive, or, if something is not getting done. Like if something on my to-do list is not getting done, I feel unproductive.
Right.
So when I could be, and my to-do list does not have to be work related, y'all. Like I have, I'm a regular person. Like, I live life. I got to do laundry. I got to clean my house. I got to, take care of my house. So I'm like, if I have an attitude and I'm just like mad all day and I didn't do my laundry, I know tomorrow I'm going to be like, dang, you really wasted a whole day and now you don't have nothing to wear. So it's just like, I try not to dwell on it for the whole day. And I would highly recommend not dwelling on it for the whole day. Just give yourself some time. You need time to process things, to like accept it and then get over it, move on. But to dwell on it for 24 hours, I don't think it's worth it.
I agree. So with that being said, what are you most grateful for? Outside of you starting a business,
girl,
multiple businesses, what are you most grateful for?
I am grateful that there is air in my lungs. Okay. I am breathing. Yeah. I especially after the year that we just had, like, I'm just grateful to be here. And honestly, to be in a good spot. I feel like I have my own personal issues, my own things going on, my own struggles that I deal with every day, but it could be so much worse. And I know that. And, I remind myself of that. I'm like, okay, like, everything is not always gonna be great. Like you're not always gonna just cruise through life. Like you're going to hit those speed bumps. You're gonna hit those times where you want to just throw in the towel and quit, or when I just want to change my whole life, and I just feel like we all go through that. But I'm just grateful to be here, to be in this space, to have my own place, to be able to do what I want to do. Essentially, I'm like, maybe all the time I can't do what I want to do, but 90% of the time I'm doing what I want to do. So I'm like, that's a good life. Yeah, and I'm just grateful to be healthy. I mean, staying healthy at this time is a priority.
Right.
So I'm like, usually I would be the one that would, catch a cold or whatever when the seasons change, because I used to be so overwhelmed and stressed out, not doing right. And my immune system was just like, yeah, no. So whenever it got a little bit cold outside, I would be sick.
Right.
So I just like, I thank God, because this whole year, this whole thing that's been going on, I have not, even caught that little cold that I would usually get. So I feel like I've been really working on my health, if anything. And I'm grateful for that, because I was scared. I'm like, oh my God, it's going to be so bad. Like I'm going to have that little cold, and then everybody going to be thinking that I got it, and they going to be, and I'm, and there's just so many things that go through your head. So I was just like, yeah, I'm really grateful, because this probably like the first year that I have not caught a cold. No cap. Like knock on wood. Like I keep, I'm doing what I need to do in that aspect, supplements and, vitamin C and drinking more water and doing all that stuff and just trying to make sure I'm as healthy as I can possibly be. But yeah, I just knew I was going to pop up with a cold, especially at this time. Like, I just know it's just going to be that time. Like, I just know I'm going to pop up with a cold, and it's going to be a whole whirlwind that's going to happen. But I have not. Like I said, I'm going to knock on something. But yeah, grateful for life, health, wealth.
Okay.
All that good stuff.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So to piggyback on what you had mentioned not too long ago, what keeps you going? Because you have a place, you do what you want to do,
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes bills could be very overwhelming, or life in general, unexpected turns happen.
Yeah.
What really keeps you going? Like, how do you really bypass the fact that you have to pay these bills, or sometimes everything hits you all at once? How do you
Mm-hmm.
really?
Um, well, honestly, y'all know, like, well, I don't know if y'all really know, but they know. I literally went from, I feel like, well, I'm going to use these terms. It's not like actually correct, but I feel like I went from, being a child
Mhm.
to being an adult, like overnight, kind of.
Mhm.
Because it was just like, okay, yeah, I want to get my own place. So that's going to come with its own bills. But when in doing that, there was other things that my parents were helping me with and they were taking care of that, I just never knew about. That was like, oh, you're going to get your own place now. You're going to take care of this too.
Mhm.
So, while I was thinking, okay, yeah, I might have one big bill and a few other small bills just for my place. No, I have, other things that I need to take care of too. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. Shortly after that, now I get a new office. Now I have a whole other set of bills. I basically
Mhm.
be like, I have two houses at this point. Like I paid two rents that are equivalent to an apartment. So
Mhm.
I'm like, now I have this whole other set of bills to take care of. So I just feel like I went from having no bills to having a ton of bills
Mhm.
overnight. So that was just, something that it sounded great at the time.
Mm.
It sounded great at the time because, being an entrepreneur is just so unexpected. And that's the
Mhm.
thing. I have to like when people ask me, I'm like, let me just make sure you're clear that this life is very much unexpected. So in order to really, really thrive being an entrepreneur, you really have to be smart about your money and how you manage it because you really got to have like a really good savings because you just never know what could happen. Like you could have a great month and then you could have a really, really bad month. So if you don't have anything to fall back on, you're just going to be stuck.
Right. I
So
agree.
I think that, in the beginning it all sounded good and then I started to get to a point where it was just like, okay, yeah, this is not easy. Like this is going I think that when I went into it, I didn't really have, a solid plan about how I was managing my money. I was just making so much money and also saving money. So I was just like, oh yeah, I'll be good.
Mhm.
But that's not sustainable when you're an entrepreneur because it's like, yeah, back then when all this craziness first started, I feel like all the small businesses were booming. Everybody wanted to support a small business. Everybody kind of wanted to start their own business. So they were, shopping with me and doing all that stuff. So it was like a lot of money coming in. But it's not always going to be like that.
Mhm.
And not to say it's going to be a drought, but, it's not going to be that same amount every week, every month, every day.
Right.
So I think I, went through a process of, okay, let's reevaluate. Let's try to, come up with some kind of plan that will work for different scenarios, for different months, like however the sales go that month. But I think what really keeps me going is just the fact that, one, I've come this far, so why would I give up now? But
Mhm.
also, too, it's just like, I just don't think I'm built to work for anybody else. Like,
Mhm.
I don't think I can do it.
Right.
Like, I tried it, I did do it, and I was doing great, but it was just like, I'm not gonna say I was miserable because I was making good money. And,
Mhm.
for my first corporate job, I think I got a really good job, and a really good pay for my first corporate job, but it was not satisfying me at all. Like I
Right.
had all that money in the bank and I still wasn't happy. So that it's just like, sometimes you just got to take that leap
Mhm.
and see how things go. But I think that's kind of what keeps me going. It's just like I don't want to be back in that situation. Like I don't want to be back to where I feel like my back is against the wall and I have to work for somebody, or I feel like I'm not going to be able to manage, you know, all this stuff by myself. So I think that's really what keeps me going. And also my supporters too, because they look up to me and they see me doing great, and they see me, and then that lets them know that they can do it too. So I've always wanted to be that for people because representation is everything, honestly. It's like when I was growing up, I didn't see a lot of people that looked like me doing things that I wanted to do.
Right.
So that's why, I think at a young age, I was just like, wow, I really want to be that girl that can inspire other young girls that you don't have to do things the traditional way, like, grow up, get a job, be a wife, have kids, be a housewife, whatever. You can break the boundaries a little bit. You can
Right.
do
You could be your own
exactly.
boss.
Yeah, I'm like, you can be your own boss and still, crush all those other things. Like, come on now. So yeah, my supporters really do keep me going. And, I know a lot of them are waiting for me to show up for them. So I'm like, let me show up. Let me not leave my supporters hanging. I wouldn't be where I'm at without them. So let
Right.
me, let me give them what they want to. So yeah, I think in a nutshell, that's what keeps me going. But yeah, bills get overwhelming for anybody. And
Most
I know it's
definitely.
just like on social media, people, they show you what they want you to see. And I feel like I'm very big on that too. I'm like, I do the same thing. Like a lot of y'all wouldn't know when I'm going through something, crazy, or when I'm struggling with anything. I'll talk to my best friend, I'll talk to my boyfriend, or I'll talk to my mom or whatever. But that's only because, I feel like that's just something that y'all should understand. We don't have to put all of our personal business out there to let y'all know that we go through hard times too.
Right.
Just, I'm saying it now. We go through hard times too, okay? Like, we done been through a time or two where it's just like, oh, I don't know if this is going to work. I need to figure out a new plan or figure out something else that I can do. And I feel like we all, at one time or another, we're going to get into that situation where that happens. But it's just how you deal with it, how you come out of it, I guess, and hope for the best. Because I'm like, I just be doing what I can, and that's all I could do.
Right.
That's really all I could do.
I agree. I mean, we're still young. We're still learning. We're going to fail. We're going to succeed. X, Y, and Z. And so I like the fact that you said, you went from a child to an adult overnight, even though it may or may not be like the right terms in your aspect.
Yeah.
So with that being said, what is one thing that you wish you knew now that you are an adult? And I ask this because I know your audience is either like the same age, if not younger.
Yeah.
So what is something that you wish you knew?
I think I wish I had more of a structure, I want to say, to like saving money, because honestly, like, it's easy to make money,
Right.
Like, it's not hard to sell a product to somebody, especially if you have, a platform. So I think, making money is one thing, but having it, like actually having it being accessible to you right now, that's a whole different thing. So I feel like, on social media, like like I was telling you, I don't know what I was doing. I think I was on live and somebody was just like, "Oh girl, you must be rich. Like, you shipping all these packages and all that stuff."
Yeah.
I'm just like, y'all, y'all know running a business costs money, right?
It does.
So just because y'all see me working all the time and y'all see me, doing all these orders and stuff, yeah, I'm making money, but y'all don't know how much money is actually sitting in my bank account right now. It's a difference, and I think that if back then I had more of a, plan, more of a structure to when we was all booming, when everything kind of really took off, like if I would have saved more of that money, because, back then it was just like, oh yeah, I got money. I could go do this. I could go do that. I could get me a place. I could, I can get whatever I want. But I feel like I wasn't thinking like, yeah, I was saving a little bit, but I feel like if I would have really kind of just like sat down, made a plan and saved more.
Right.
Or, cause I just feel like, I think savings, when it comes to savings, is kind of like trial and error. And I feel like, parents kind of teach their kids different methods of saving. So everyone has like a different perspective on how you should save money, how much you should save,
if
when
they're taught to save.
If they're taught to save.
Right.
So yeah, I think, if I would have had more structure in place back then when it came to, because like I said, honest to God, like I started making all that money and that was the first time that I ever made that kind of money, you know? So anytime you get in a situation like that, it's just like, oh, I could do what I want now. I'm grown now. I'm making my own money. I can do what I want now. But, you got to think about a year from now.
Right.
Or 2 years from now. You know, like things might change, things might slow down.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't want to feel like, you know, you built this thing and you're putting in all this work and then you don't have nothing to show for it besides you shipped X amount of packages.
Right.
You don't have no financial stability. You don't have no savings. You don't have no nothing. I was just like, you know, I don't ever want to be in that spot. So, you know, everyone has their own goals. And as people look at me, you know, they see me doing well, but I'm just like, I have goals. Like I'm nowhere near where I want to be with my business. So yeah, I'm like, I could definitely have done a better job at savings. I could definitely have, you know, more of a savings right now than what I do. I could definitely have been, you know, just better off, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's one thing I wish I knew. But like I said, you know, it's all a learning experience. I know now you got to plan for a rainy day because you will get to that rainy day. One of these days, it is going to pour and you are going to be like, oh my God. And it's going to be like a huge shock. And then you'll be like, yeah, I need to plan just a little bit better because entrepreneur life is unstable sometimes.
Even adulting, I promise you, you got to
Mm-hmm.
make sacrifices.
Mm-hmm.
Entrepreneurship, it costs money to make money.
Mm-hmm.
It took me a little minute to realize that. So I agree with everything that you said.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Y'all, it's not easy out here, I promise you.
Oh, Jesus.
It is not easy. Bless you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, not easy at all.
Right. So throughout this journey, what are throughout this journey, I'm pretty sure that you've encountered, you know, successes as well as failures, plenty of them. So how do you celebrate your successes and how do you accept your failures?
Oh, y'all, we gotta celebrate our accomplishments. I think that's one thing that I started to become big on once I graduated college and started, you know, doing my own business and all that stuff. Thank you, Lynn. She made sure I'm looking good, y'all. She gonna make sure. Yeah, you know, I try to reward myself with the things that I like, you know, whether that be you buy yourself something. I know a lot of entrepreneurs are big on that. Like once they hit a certain milestone, they buy something for themselves that they always wanted. So yeah, whether it's me buying myself something or we're like physically celebrating, you know, we're having a celebration or we're going somewhere. Or maybe it's really just me taking a day off of work, you know, kind of like giving myself a pat on the back for getting a certain amount of stuff done and letting my body rest for a day or two. So yeah, that's really how I celebrate nowadays. It's just like we celebrate the little things too, because I've learned in the past year that it's really the little things that count, because I feel like it's the little things that were kind of taken away from us that we, you know, really took for granted. It's like, wow, you know, just regular, normal, everyday things that we used to do, like hugging our friends and going out to eat or, you know, going out to our favorite spot or whatever, that those were the things that were kind of taken away from us. So I'm like, yeah, let me celebrate, you know, that I can be here with my best friend and we can talk and hang out and just, you know, breathe together. And that's really enough for me now. You know, I feel like before maybe we used to have to do this whole big extravagant thing. We only celebrated the big things. And when we celebrate the big things, it's a whole, you know, we got to fully plan this out. We got to fully put this thing together. But I feel like now it's more of like, girl, let's just chill at home and watch movies and celebrate that we just did whatever we just did. Like, yeah. So I think that's a thing that I've been doing recently to celebrate the little small things. But, you know, if it's something big, we might buy a cake. You know, it's still just the little things for me. But I'm hoping, you know, I could go somewhere sometime soon to celebrate something a little bit bigger. Maybe I could go somewhere. But how do I accept my failures? Honestly, it's just, it's really a mental thing. 'Cause I come from a background of, you know, I'm always going to be the best, like my best self, I guess. Like I'm always going to do a good job because I put in the work. So I'm just always going to do a good job. And that's honestly just not how life works. You might put in all your effort and it still doesn't work. Right. And you just have to realize that you had to learn something out of that. Like, you had to get that full experience and realize that, you know, you're not always going to come out on the best side of things. So I think now I just know, like, okay, yeah, I might be a little frustrated because I put in all this time and all this effort and it still didn't really work out how I wanted it to. But I realize now that most of the time that's a learning experience for me, because sometimes it's just like I try to do things at the last minute thinking that, oh yeah, I can always just, you know, make it happen or make it work. Life don't work like that. Right. Like, good things take time sometimes, and sometimes you really do need to sit down and plan things out ahead of time, and you can't always expect for things to happen at the last minute, because when you do stuff at the last minute, that's when last minute stuff start happening, and you be like, hold on, because we thought this was just going to be smooth sailing, and it don't be like that. And most of the time, you know, it's a lesson for me, like, stop waiting until the last minute to do stuff. Like, you're not always going to be able to just bounce back, bounce on your feet and make something happen at the last second. So I just, you know, at this point, I think I'm old enough, and I know now that I have to give myself time to do stuff, because it ain't always gonna work. It's not always gonna work out. So I tell people that all the time. I'm like, y'all, please give yourself room to make mistakes. Give yourself room for things to not work out so that you can make it happen on time. So I'm like, people want to start something, they want to do something in 3 weeks or a month or whatever. And I'm like, really? That's not enough time for you to make mistakes. Right. So, you know, I try to encourage that all the time. You know, give yourself time for that trial and error period, because error is just inevitable. Like, it's always going to happen. And you just got to bounce back from it. You know, I feel like maybe back in the day, I used to be that kind of person where it's like, dang, if it didn't work out, I was like, whatever, you know, with certain things, it's just like, all right, I'm over it. I don't even want to do it no more. But I had to learn now that I have a business, multiple businesses, you know, things not always going to go my way. Right. So I'm going to have to figure out how it's going to happen after plan A doesn't work. And I think that's just something that comes with age. That's something that comes with experience too. And you just really got to accept it, and you got to move on, because most of the times there's a lot of stuff that's not in your control too.
That is very true. A lot of things we can't control, but what you can control is what's going to happen now.
And how you react to it. I'm still working on that.
Exactly. I don't react to much. I just sit there and I just like, okay. And then I give myself time to react, because I just... If things don't go my way, I'm just going to be mad the whole entire day. I promise you. I'm just like, okay, don't want to do nothing. Similar to like how Kori is. But I give myself time to reflect on the situation and then assess the situation appropriately to how it should be handled. But making mistakes, like when it comes to accepting failures, you shouldn't be your biggest critic. Like, we're always hard on ourselves. And it's normal. It's very natural for us to do so. But sometimes you really just have to accept it for what it is and then determine what you're going to do next. Yeah. That's really the main thing. You just don't want to dwell on the situation thinking that, or just accepting the fact that nothing else is going to happen afterwards, when it's just like, okay, you should have done this differently rather than doing this. Yeah. So when it comes to failures, I would just say don't beat yourself up like too hard, because like with my business, I had like a lot of failures. I thought I knew it all, but in reality, I didn't. So I'm taking it as a learning, something to teach myself and to be very knowledgeable, because every day you're going to learn something new, like I stated before. And there's nothing wrong with education. Education is very powerful.
Right. I think that too, you know, we have such high expectations of ourselves. Like, you know, it's one thing to be like, okay, I'm a strong person. I believe in myself and I know that I can do anything that I put my mind to. But then also thinking that, you know, the first couple of times that you try to do something, that you're going to get it those first couple of times. Because honestly and truly, yeah, I've been doing this for a little over a year now. And I still honestly can say, like, I don't have it all figured out. You know, I don't know everything. So I feel like I put myself in some situations thinking like, yeah, I'm superwoman. Like I could do all this stuff. Like, yeah, I can handle it. Yeah, I know a little bit of something. Yeah, we can make this work. But in reality, it's just like, okay, yeah, I really don't be knowing what I'm doing sometimes.
Right.
Like that's just the reality of the situation. Like you really don't be knowing what's going on sometimes. And that's okay because I always say this. I'm like, businesses were not created to be ran by one person or even two people. So sometimes you got to just figure it out. And sometimes it's going to take you multiple times to keep doing the same thing before you figure out what really is going to work and make it happen. So yeah, that's why I was just like, I stopped beating myself up, like, because most of the times it's just my first time trying to do something and seeing how it goes. And if it don't work, then okay, cool, we're not going to do that again. Like, that's just it. You can't sit there and be like, dang, you just couldn't figure it out. You just didn't, like, it takes time. Sometimes you got to do things a couple times before you really figure it out.
Right. That's true. That's very true. You got to keep going. Like you just can't give up because you never know how close you are to that very pivotal moment in your life, to be honest.
Girl.
Sometimes you got to give yourself time. It may not be right now. You feel as though it's not right now, but give yourself time to reflect on the situation and then go back as if nothing happened, like you're starting all over again. And treat it that way. So with that being said, of us talking about failures, how do you get yourself out of a funk? So say if something doesn't go your way or it just didn't work out. How do you really get yourself out of a funk? Because yeah, it sucks, but
you know what? It's hard. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, it's hard, especially when you're a perfectionist. Like, I don't know why I had to be that one that's just like so extra and everything just has to be how I want it to be. And I mean, I feel like that's like a blessing and a curse at the same time because it's just like, one, I don't want to settle for anything below my expectations, below, what my vision is. But also it's just like sometimes you really have something good and even though it's not exactly what you want it to be, it's still great, So I feel like it's kind of like a blessing and a curse. But if I'm in a funk, I really hate getting in funks because I'm just that perfectionist that's just like it's going to be my way or no way. Like, my way or the highway, okay? That's it.
She's not lying. She's not lying, y'all.
If we ain't doing it like this, I'm not doing it, And I feel like I've had that mentality for so long. And I'm just so grateful for friends that really can balance me out because none of my friends really like that. Like, it's really just me, I think. I think I might be the only one, but that's okay. So yeah, it's tough when I get in a funk because I'm usually that girl I'm really a brat at heart, I think.
Most definitely.
And that's just like, I think that's only child syndrome too. And not a brat in like the worst way, but just like, I like things to go my way. And that's just how it is. So it's hard when, I can't have things how I want it to be. But also, I think now that I'm getting older too, I'm just like grateful to have something. It's like, okay, it might not be exactly how you want it, but you still have this. I think that's how I think about it. And even like today, like stuff happens today, and I'm just like, okay, I'm still here. I'm good. I still, have resources that I need to get stuff done. I can still work and I should just be grateful for that, So yeah. And also just thinking about, life is really too short, like to be mad about one thing that didn't go my way. And I just be having to get over myself sometimes, honestly. And it might take me, a couple hours or whatever to kind of snap out of it and kind of cool off and, get myself back to normal. But that's fine. Like, I think that's really important too, just like learning yourself and learning what exactly you need to kind of snap out of it. Like, if you need an hour or two, if you need to, scroll through TikTok for a little bit, laugh, get it off your chest, laugh it off. Or, if I need to go sit outside, if I need to take a walk, if I need to, run or work out or whatever you need to do to like, snap out of it.
Right.
Do what you got to do. Give yourself that space to do what you got to do because, with me, it's just like, if I don't give myself that time to snap out of it, then like I said, I'm not going to be productive the whole rest of the day. And that's a whole day wasted. So I just try to get myself out of it. And also, venting it out. I talk to my friends and, they give me their perspective on it. They give me, their moral support. And that always makes me feel better because I've never been the type of person that's just like, oh, I keep everything to myself and I don't want to talk about it. Like, no, I want to yell. I want to curse. I want to get it all out. I want to let it all out and then be done with it. So that also helps me. So if you have somebody to talk to, whether it's your mama, your best friend, boyfriend, whoever it is, just, somebody that's not gonna, they're not going to judge you for your feelings. They're going to try to understand where you're coming from.
Right. Be empathetic.
Yeah, so yeah, that's how I deal with that. And I think I just think that, as you keep growing, honest to God, the situations are just going to get crazier. They're just going to get, more to handle, more to resolve. So I think it's really about growing along the way and developing that tough skin and trying to kind of remove yourself and realize, like I said earlier, you're not in control of everything.
Right.
And yeah, I think I'm a lot better than I was 5 years ago.
No, I agree.
Granted, 5 years ago, we didn't have these kind of problems, so
we didn't.
So
not at all. Like 5 years ago, how old were we? Like 8? I don't know. I don't want to do the math. I suck at math. But I agree. I most definitely agree. And that's because with today, for example, you knew the situation and you had to step away.
Yeah.
I
was like, girl, I need a minute. I'll be back.
Literally. And I didn't even ask her, did she want a minute? Because I was in the room, like, laying on the floor. And I didn't want to just stare at her, waiting, like, so what we gonna do? So I just, respectfully walked out and just did my own thing because, that's her moment that she needs to, figure out. But me, when it comes to, like, funks or whatever, I allow myself to be in a funk for probably, like, who knows how long, probably, like, a couple days at most. And then I'll be like, okay, well, what am I doing? I'm wasting my time. So as long as you're able to get yourself out of that funk, that's all that matters. Because if you're not, you're setting yourself up for failure. Point blank, period. So with me, I just let it happen. I just like, I mean, it is what it is. What more can I do?
Right. I can't fix it. We can't go back in time. It's done now. So
right. So I just let it ride. And then I just be like, okay, I need to be doing something else. So, I told you earlier, before we started recording, that I was watching a podcast and I can't remember his name. I was trying to find it. And he was stating that because he studies like neurology and stuff like that. So he was stating that he fake laughs. Like he fakes laugh out, and he was just like, although it sounds ridiculous and it looks absurd, it actually helps.
Yeah, because by the time you fake laugh for a little bit, you're going to start laughing at yourself for real because it's going to be funny.
Exactly. So he was saying he does that, and he was also saying the emotions you portray like outside, like whether it's like smiling or like frowning, you're going to feel those emotions like mentally, I think something like to that nature. But he was also stating that typically you would think your brain is telling your body how to feel, but your body is really telling your brain how to feel. So if you're in that funk and your body doesn't feel like anything, you're really telling your brain that you don't feel like doing anything, so you're not going to do anything. So it's just, you really gotta want more for yourself. You want to get yourself out of that, because once you start feeling like you're going to progress, you're gonna be like, okay, you feel heightened to do more, because that's how I've been feeling lately. Like, there's so much more for myself, like out here, like I could be doing so much more, and I make sure I do so. So whether it's like making sure that my room is flowing nothing but positive energy, I start looking up, how can I rearrange my room to have more positive energy, X, Y, and Z. So you have to want it for yourself, so.
And most of the time, I mean, okay, so like a little context about today, certain things happen today that, I didn't like. And you don't like when things happen that you don't like. Right. That's just, and it's not like it's one person's fault or another. So it's just like, okay, so these are the things that happen. What are we going to do now? And all this is happening before we're going to sit down and film. And I'm just like, yeah, I don't feel like filming anymore.
Right. I'm just like, you.
I don't want to do this anymore.
Right.
You know, that's the initial response. It's just like, I'm over it. I don't want to do it today. No, I'm good. You know, that's the initial reaction. And then after that, it's like, okay, just give me a minute. Because, you know, you're here. We're all here. We're set up. We got stuff to film. We got stuff to do. Like, we got to get stuff done at the end of the day.
Right.
So I'm like, all right. And I realize that. And I'm just like, okay. And I want to get stuff done. You know, it's like, I want to do what I need to do for the day so I can, you know, get my stuff done, obviously. So I'm like, all right, let me take a minute. Took my minute. Now I'm ready. I'm like, okay, yeah. At this point, I'm just ready to get it over with. I'm like, okay, yeah, we got work to do. I want to get it out of the way. Let's go ahead and do it. But one thing is that, you know, once you are in a funk and once you make that decision to keep going, 90% of the time, I always feel better because now I'm being productive. You know, like I'm getting through whatever it is that I need to do today. And it's going well, you know? So I feel better because, yeah, now my podcast is filmed. Yeah, now I'm going to get stuff done around the house. Yeah, now I'm going to be ready to celebrate my birthday, you know? So it's just a matter of, like I said, giving yourself that space, moving on quickly, sooner rather than later, honestly. And then, you know, once you start to do something else, you might have an amazing day. You might create something new. You might mess around and get all kind of orders coming in. So, you know, it's just like you have the power, honestly, to kind of turn the energy around for the day. So it's really up to you.
Yeah.
Whatever kind of energy you're putting out, that's the kind of energy you're going to receive. And that's just is what it is. So I'm like, you know what? I got my people here and we had things that we need to do today. We're just going to do it. We're going to go through it. Yes, you know, I might have a glass of wine. That's fine. If you need a glass of wine, by all means, go ahead and do that. That's your business. You can do that. And I just know that the rest of my day is going to be great. So.
Right. And just to, you know, touch back on like what you put out is what you will receive out in the universe. Is so crazy because I was watching a interview with Big Sean and he had said that, and you don't really realize the power of your words. So let's say like you're in a funk and you're just like, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do da 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 da. You're not gonna do it at all, you know, subconsciously. It's just like you're just not in the mood. You're not gonna do it. But the more that you downplay something, it's going to come back and it's just like, wow, I really don't feel like doing anything at all. Or maybe this is not for me, you know? So once you're in that funk, you really have to be careful about the words that you put out because it's bound to come back, you know? So the power of words and as well as energy and emotions is crazy. It's really crazy because at the end of the day, you are in control. You're in control of what you say, how you feel, X, Y, and Z. You're entitled to feel how you are, but you're not entitled to get a response. So
yeah,
it's just it's up to you. It's really up to you. So you really have to be careful of the things that you say as well as the energy you put out because it's bound to come back to you.
Yeah,
it may not be as soon as possible, but it's bound to come back. So I most definitely agree. What you put out is most definitely that's what you're gonna get.
Yeah. And you don't want to like block your own blessings too, because I find that, you know, when I'm in those funks, when I don't feel like doing anything, or maybe something irritated me about work or about whatever, it's just like, if I'm in a funk that whole day, those are the days that, oh yeah, no orders came in today. If you're not putting out that good energy, you're not going to get that good energy.
That is very true because there has been times this girl was just like, oh, maybe if it was like a slow day or something with orders, she would put out the energy that she is going to get orders. And I promise you, she had got probably like a couple orders, maybe not 5, that same day.
Girl.
That same day, because she's just like, she knew that she wanted to get these orders. She knew that it was going to happen. She didn't know when, but as she's putting out that energy, it's coming back to her. So it's bound to happen. You really have to project that energy as well as that belief, as well as trust that something is going to happen. And it'll happen.
That part.
And that hasn't been only like one occasion. It's been like multiple. So you just really have to, you got to believe it. Some people be like, oh, you got to see it to believe it. No, believe it and then you will see it.
Hello? Hello.
So,
A word.
okay,
A word.
I'm trying to tell you.
You tapping on Polar Express vibes. That's the whole moral of the story.
I'm telling you.
Okay? You have to believe it before you're going to see it.
Exactly. I said a word myself. Oh, boy. Stop playing with me.
Girl.
Stop playing with me.
Girl.
Listen, y'all, I'm telling y'all.
Girl.
Start now.
Hello.
Believe in yourself now, because it's going to happen. It's going to happen. I think this might be my last question. I might have follow-up questions. Never know. Might have some side comments. But you spoke on, you didn't really speak on it. You just tapped onto the topic of goals. So what are your personal goals?
Personal goals. Ooh, child. Honestly, I want to live, I don't want to say a stress-free life because I feel like that's impossible. Like, everyone has something that they're going to worry about or something that's going to, it's going to eat them up in the back of their minds at some point. I think I would just want more security, maybe.
Right.
I think that's a goal. I want to be more secure, and I want to continue to build my savings, like I said, and just being able to do whatever I want. Like,
right. So more security within like financially as well as like, yourself.
Yeah. Like I want to reach new levels of financial security, financial freedom. And, I want to help the people around me too, because it's like, y'all help me. I want to pour back into y'all as well. So, yeah, that's really the goal. Right. I want to feel better. Also, like I've been talking about that, my wellness journey and everything. I just feel like I'm so young, and I just feel like I've been through so many different things when it comes to my body and how I'm feeling and my health and everything. And I feel like I'm just too young to have been through so many things like that. So I want to take care of my body. I want to, live the longest and healthiest life that I can. And I want that to be as stress-free as possible, because stress is not good for your heart. Like at the end of the day, it's like, it's not doing anything for you. And a lot of our stresses just come from finances. Like I just feel like our lives revolve around money because we need money to do everything. We need money to survive. We need money to sustain our lives. And I just don't want that to ever be a concern for me or those around me, because it might not be me personally, but if it's her, then I still feel it, Right. So I want to make sure we all good. Yeah. At the end of the day.
Yeah, that's not you.
So I think those are my personal goals, just to, just live life. I want to live life and I want to enjoy life, and I don't want to be worried about things that are monetary. Like, I feel like we have better things to worry about, honestly. If we're going to worry about something, it shouldn't be that for me. So I think those are my personal goals, keep growing and glowing. Period. And just be more secure, because I'm like, I'm an entrepreneur. Like, you got to think about things differently. It's like, okay, yeah, when do I want to retire? Like, when do I want to stop working and just really live life and not have to work? And, what are my businesses going to look like when I retire? So there's just a lot of different things that you have to think about personally, because it's not all laid out for you like how it is when you work for somebody else and you have, that structure and that timeline. So I'm like, I'm kind of like very much in control. So I'm like, wow, if I make more money now, I might be able to retire early. Right. This is so many things that you could think about. So it's really all financial. I feel like that's what we all, think about. But I just want to live life. If we want to go somewhere, we going to pick up and go.
Okay. Hello.
And we'll come back when we come back.
And I like how you said that, because DeAndrea, we had went to high school with her. She had made a post on her story, and she was just like, I think it was something to the nature of like, are you celebrating another year of life, or are you adding another year? Right. So, and I feel like that really says a lot, because it made me reflect, and it's just like, wow, like I'm just adding nothing but years, and I'm not really living in the moment. So I've gotten to the point where I'd rather just accept what's going on right now and just live in it. I mean, you can still control what's happening like right now because you're making decisions, but it just made me realize, like, yeah, I need to live more. Didn't realize I was so lame. Lame is HE double hockey sticks.
Please stop.
Like,
please.
So being more like open to, you know, just getting up and go just because you feel like it. And then, you know, once you are financially free or financially secure, you can hire people where you don't have to do these things, you know.
Girl, girl, listen. I've been having this weird feeling lately. I don't know if you can relate to this, but I was feeling like kind of almost like I was back in school a little bit. Like I would feel like, you know how you have deadlines in school, or like when you're in school, it's just like, okay, yeah, I have to be at school. Like I can't really go home or like go anywhere else or do anything else because I have to be here and like I have obligations here. It's just so weird. Like I was feeling like I stopped and thought about it. I'm like, why am I acting like I got to wake up tomorrow and be somewhere at a certain time? Like I don't make my own schedule. Like why do I feel like I can't, it's just so weird. Like, I was just like, why do I feel like this? I feel like I'm back at school and, you know, I have to turn this in on a certain day and that's the only option that I have. And I was like, that's really not it. Like, that's not where you are. And I'm like, okay, if I want to go to this place right now and I have gas in my car right now, just go and do it. Like, you know, I just feel like, sometimes you have to think about, okay, yeah, go do what you want now and figure it out later. That's not, you know, how you should live your life. Don't be irresponsible. Right. Don't be irresponsible. But at a certain point, it's just like, if you work so hard and you find yourself in a certain place and you don't like where you are and you want to do something and you have the means to do it in that moment, sometimes you just have to do it. Figure it out later. Like, I mean, it'll always get figured out, you know? So I don't know. I just been having that weird feeling lately. I'm like, dang, I feel like I'm confined, but I'm really not. So that's when I was just like, okay, yeah, if you want to do this, just go do it. Like, live your life, live life. And then you gonna always figure it out. But like you said, not a sustainable way to live, not encouraging anyone to be out here making irresponsible decisions. For me, it was just small stuff like, okay, yeah, if I want to eat a certain thing, I'm like, girl, you have to eat. And if this is what you want to eat, girl, get up and go get that. Like, you can do that. So it's just a thing of like not feeling guilty about the little things, like how you feed your body, you know, whether that's actually what you're eating or how you're spending your time or what you're consuming, what you're looking at, what you're reading. Like, you have more power than you think. And I'm like, I don't know why I feel like I'm back on this like super tight schedule. Like, if I decide that I don't want to work tomorrow, I'm not going to work. Like,
and I really think it's because of the expectations or the standards you may have put out for your consumers. So if you're telling yourself Monday through Friday you're gonna wake up at 8 a.m., 7 a.m., whatever, you already placed that schedule of being in school because you have to, you got to fulfill those orders. You got to make these products, X, Y, and Z. So at the end of the day, we are going to feel like, you know, we're confined to doing X, Y, and Z, especially when it gets overwhelming to the point where sometimes you may not want to do it, but you know, you have to do it. So I really think that's where it is. But, you know, once you really have a schedule of doing, I'm going to do this, this, and this on this day. But that weekend
is mine.
That weekend is mine. I'm not doing nothing. So I feel like once you have a set schedule to do X, Y, and Z and then have time for yourself, that's when you should really enjoy it the most, but also enjoying what you do at the same time, which I know you do. But I think that's where you're getting that feeling from. It's just like, I've already made myself a schedule. And in school, we had a schedule. The bus was going to arrive by like 7:15. We were going to get to school by 8. X, Y, and Z. So, and then by the end of the day, we had to wake up and repeat, you know. But sometimes there's nothing wrong with that because especially if it's something you want to do. School, I'm not going to say F school, but I mean,
girl.
Hey.
Yeah. What she said. What she said, because it's been real crazy these past couple of weeks, but
I mean,
still here.
Right, it'd be like that. you
We
know?
still here.
It'd be like that.
Mm-hmm.
Just take life as a, grain of salt.
Yeah. And I think that, it's really important to recharge because I think I got to the point last week where I was just like, yeah, I'm feeling very much burnt out and I know what burnout feels like. And I think that's what I'm experiencing. And that's okay. Like I'm at the time where it's like, okay, I told myself I was taking a week off for my birthday. I'm taking a week off for my birthday.
As you should.
And I'm really going to do my best to really tap out of work because it's hard when you're so consumed in it and when you're a workaholic, quote unquote.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to not check your phone. It's hard to not respond to emails. It's hard to turn it off at a certain point. So my goal for this week is to really just like tap out for a week. That's how I'm celebrating. I'm tapping out for a week because, a couple weeks ago I sat down, I made this new schedule because I'm like, yeah, I really want to crush this YouTube thing. Like I have to post this many videos per week. Like I know what I need to do in order to see the growth that I need to see. I just need to do it. So I really sat here and kind of set myself up with this unrealistic schedule of work, that I'm going to be filming, editing, posting, and just busting out this content. But that was not realistic for the state that I'm in right now, when it comes to how burnt out I really am. So now I'm just like, yeah, I'm not even mad. I'm not even, beating myself up about it because I realized when it's time for me to make a schedule, I know how to do it. Because my schedule, honestly, it's a great schedule that I made. It's just that, I didn't stick to every single thing on the schedule, but I'm like, okay, when it's time for me to, come back, once I'm rested, once I'm well rested and recharged, once I have that, crazy motivation back. Cause like right now it's just like, yeah, I'm just doing stuff cause I know I got to do it, but I don't have that extra boost that I'm used to, that extra little kick of motivation. That's just because I'm tired, So I'm like, yeah, I'm going to come back and better than ever after next week, once I get my rest in and celebrate and do all that good stuff, I'm going to be ready to work after that. Right. I just know, I feel it. I'm like, I'm going to be ready to work after that because being a workaholic and you don't work, it's like you fiending, your fingers itching, you want to get back to it, but you kind of forcing yourself to take a break. So there's that drive that's going to get you where you need to be. And then also just like getting that extra rest is going to get me where I need to be too. So I'm going to be ready week after next.
Period. As you should.
Come back.
I was watching a podcast. That's what I was just looking up just now. Jay Shetty and Tom B, because I don't know how to pronounce his last name. I believe Jay Shetty was just like, you can't I think there was a study where it says you can't do business and be creative at the same time. Because like you said, you're going to be burnt out. Trying to plan when you're going to do a photo shoot, a podcast, and then figure out what next product you're going to drop for like Smudge. So like figuring out, the first 2 hours or whatever, or put 2 things that you're going to focus on for personal goals, and then, business goals, and then like creative goals. So therefore, you're not as burnt out. Because I can imagine like you do a lot. You're an influencer, you're an entrepreneur, and the list goes on at this point. Like she really does a lot. So I can see how it is tiring. Not only that, you have friends, you have family, you gotta assist everything, and you can't do everything by yourself. So actually giving yourself that schedule, your schedule's not that bad, but you also need to have time for yourself at the end of the day. So speaking on having time for yourself, how do you take care of yourself? Like how do you assess your mental, your physical? I know you like drinking tea, but is tea enough?
So let me talk about tea, y'all. Let me talk about the tea. I feel like, first of all, I never knew that I was going to be an avid tea drinker. Like I could not have told you that because I would only drink tea like when I was sick or, something like that. Like it was never, my throat was scratchy, so I need to have a cup of tea. Tea, I feel like, is now my escape. which is so crazy. Um, and it's just like, there's a whole bunch of different teas out there, and, they all have different benefits. They all have different flavors and different tastes and everything. But there is that stress relief. There is that tension tamer. We're relieving tension. We're relieving a little bit of anxiety or whatever. There's those soothing sleepy time teas, all that kind of stuff, right? But it's something about, I take a second, I put the water on, I figure out which tea I want to drink today. Now, tea bags, they have little inspirational quotes on them now.
I didn't know that.
Every time I open my tea bag, I read what's on the other side, because it always says, it's like a fortune cookie, almost.
Oh, wow.
Right? So it's just like, it has like, well, the ones that I buy, at least, I don't know about every single brand or whatever, but there's a little quote on there. And I just remember one day, I had looked at it. I was so stressed out. I'm drinking stress relief tea, and it had this little quote on there. I don't even remember what it said, but I just remember, like, I had took a picture of it and posted it on Instagram. Bless you.
Thank you.
I had took a picture of it and posted it on Instagram because I was like, wow. Like, that's really what I need to hear today, you know? So I think it's just like all the things, and, that's a marketing tactic. Like, they know what they're doing. Tea is really just, it's that 5 minutes out the day that I have for myself, that I can enjoy something that I like to consume, but also I might, read something that motivates me to get through the day. So yeah, I do drink tea every day. Sometimes I might have multiple glasses of tea every day. Sometimes I might, make a real strong tea, put 2 tea bags in there in the morning. You never know what kind of day I'm having when it comes to tea. I don't wake up knowing what kind I'm gonna drink in the morning. It's just really like how I feel. I have a lot of options to choose from. But yeah, I drink my tea every day, and I try to, get teas that are gonna cater to my needs. So those stress relief, tension tamers, and just, ingredients that help with, inflammation or, stuff like that. Cause I'm actively, moving and working and manual labor and packing and filling and all this stuff. So anything that's gonna help with body tension, stress, stuff like that. I'm doing this whole water challenge again. Girl, I know I'll be dehydrated. Not even gonna cap to y'all. I know I'll be dehydrated because I don't drink enough water. And it's like, yeah, you can drink a lot of tea, and that's helping your water intake, but you really do just need like that fresh water going through your body to just keep things going, flushing it out, whatever. So yeah, drinking more water. I'm trying to figure out, my meal plan. I'm trying to figure that out because I just feel like me buying groceries and then cooking meals and everything, I just feel like it's not sustainable for me and my lifestyle. Like, I want to be healthy. I want to eat a healthier diet, but I just feel like the whole getting groceries and cooking is not for me because it's just me. So it's hard, to kind of ration out, okay, well, let me just cook half of this and cook half of that. And, stuff goes bad. So if I cook the whole thing, most likely I'm not going to eat the whole thing, and I'm going to waste food. If I cook half of it and I try to save the rest for later, now it's going bad. So I'm still wasting food. I saved a little bit of time because I didn't actually cook all of it, but I'm still wasting. So I just feel like, in my mind, yeah, it's easier for me to say, okay, you know what? No, I'm just going to pick something up on the way home. Or, okay, yeah, I'm just going to eat only frozen meals. Like, that's not sustainable for me, in my opinion. So I'm trying to figure out my meal plan because I think that if I keep up with, making sure I drink enough water, still drink my tea, but also eat a balanced diet, I feel like I would be so much better. So, yeah. I'm trying to take care of myself. Look, I'm trying to do what I can to take care of myself. I'm sleeping more, which is great. And I'm not setting alarms. I'm not abruptly being woken up out of my sleep. I'm just letting my body do its thing. When it wants to wake up, I wake up. And I don't feel bad about that. And I think that me changing my schedule really helped with that because it's like, if I'm not going into the office until 3 p.m., I kind of feel like I'm going to wake up before 3 p.m. Right. So I don't, give myself a certain time that I need to be up. I just wake up whenever I'm going to wake up. And the way my body is set up, I wake up early enough where I still have enough time to do everything that I need to do prior to going to the office, which is great. Cause it's something about you setting alarms all your life and you being woken up out your deep sleep. Like I just feel like there's something about that don't sit right with me.
Right.
When you're trying to rest and recharge and you being woken up by this alarm clock. But yeah, that, and then also mentally, I get to places where it's like I ask myself, like, am I really happy, or am I just getting through my day just because I know this is what I have to do? Am I really enjoying myself? Am I really enjoying the place that I'm in, because I know I have the power to kind of change it? But is that really what I want to do? So I try to start, really just spending time with myself and in my thoughts. Cause you know how you just think, oh, everything's always okay. You're always okay. You're good. You're still alive. You're good. But sometimes you really are slipping into a depression and you just don't know it. Sometimes you are, dealing with some things mentally and emotionally that you're not really dealing with to the best of your ability. So I try to be more open too, because I feel like, even with my close friends or even with my mom, there's certain things, that we wouldn't talk about that now I'm kind of more open to talking about, because I know it's like normal stuff. So just letting stuff out sometimes really does help me. And I think that is also another way that I'm taking care of myself too. So yeah, I'm trying, y'all. I'm not going to sit here in front like I'm doing the best job that there is, because I know I can be better and I know I still have a lot of work to do.
Right.
And I know that I do want to be that person that gets in a little bit of exercise, every now and again. Every now and again. I do want to be that person that can, do a little bit of exercise. Because like I said, I was active in high school. I was a cheerleader, y'all. I had to be in shape. I had to be able to, be light on my feet, jumping, doing all this stuff, picking people up, throwing people up, doing all this stuff. And I feel like now, and I was flexible too, to a certain extent. Like I wasn't super, super flexible. But, my body wasn't as tense and tight as it is now. And I know that has a lot to do with the stress. I just feel like I need to work on that. Like I need to be a little bit more loose. Whether we need to, put massages on rotation, get that stretching time in, get a little bit of, some kind of activity in. I'm not going to say, I want to do a full body workout. I'm not trying to lose weight. I'm not trying to, build muscle or do any of that kind of crazy stuff. I love my body. I love the way my body looks. I just want to feel better. And I've been saying that forever. It's like, I just want to feel better. I still have not found a routine or anything that really works for me that I have been able to sustain for more than a week. Honestly. So
yeah,
I try to tell people all the time, like, look, it takes time to figure it out. I feel like I've been talking about this since last summer. It's about to be summer again. And I feel like, I'm not going to beat myself up about that. It's okay. Right. But what am I doing actively every day to kind of try to find something that's going to work?
Right. Because once you find something and you actually find time to do it as well, you're going to feel so much better. Like, especially if you start your morning being active, you're going to feel more productive. Speaking from, like, my perspective, at least, because that's how I feel. Whenever I work out, I feel so inclined to do so much more, and I feel so productive to do so, honestly and truly. Yeah. So once you find something, girl, it's going to work out. It's going to work out.
But I ain't got no choice but to.
Okay, exactly. Ain't got no choice. It's gonna work. Ain't got no choice. But the way you start your mornings, or the way you start to instill better habits, you start to feel really good about yourself. Because once I did like daily affirmations, and I had stopped, I know there's a big difference. Because daily affirmations and working out, that started my morning, and I was on a roll. I was on a mission. I had things to do, things to accomplish. But once I stopped, I noticed a big shift in like my mood and how I felt, X, Y, and Z. So it's just really things that you implement. Yeah. And how it really affects you. But y'all figure it out. You'll figure it out. I mean, it just takes time. Whenever you have time, to be honest. Everybody has time to do a lot. But I think I have probably one last question.
All right.
One last question.
Hit me with the last question.
Outside of your many businesses, what is the biggest accomplishment that you've done within yourself? Because again, this is all about you.
Hmm.
What you've done, what you've learned, the mistakes you've made. What is your biggest accomplishments outside of your multiple businesses?
Child.
I have an answer for you.
My biggest accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I'm going to say graduating college. I mean, that was a personal goal for me.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of my family members did not go to college. They did not go to, like the traditional, even though I went to art school, it's still very much, they try to set it up like a traditional college. It's a 4-year program. So yeah, I think that was my biggest accomplishment because I didn't have to do that. I didn't have to pick that school. I didn't have to do any of that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a goal that I had for myself.
Right.
From back when we were in high school, I just knew I was just like, yeah, I want to go to this. I want to go to this art school. That was always my number one school. A lot of people don't get into their number one school. Like,
school wasn't even an option for me. It wasn't. Yeah, I went because my friends was going. I said, yeah. Well, I went though and I graduated.
some people, school is not for everybody, but you still made it out though.
Hello.
But a lot of times, people they have dream schools, and whether they can't get in or whether they can't afford it or whatever. And I just feel like I had a mission. Like I was going to get accepted to the school. I was gonna go and I was gonna graduate, and I did that. So, I mean,
whole 4.0.
Please stop.
Maybe like 3.8, but I think 4.0.
I'm like, please stop. So yeah, I think outside of my businesses, I would say that's my biggest accomplishment because I still think back. I just am still in awe that I even did that. Like that I even made it out. Like with a 3.8. Like some people go and they crumble, they quit. Some people go, they just barely pass, they still graduate. But some people are just like, I'm just graduating. And I mean, that's totally fine. As long as you get that, piece of paper, I'm not judging you. But to really like want more for yourself and push yourself to try to make all A's and try to come out on top, that was the whole goal for me. And I crumbled a lot of times, but I made it out. So I think that's my biggest personal accomplishment. I don't know what your answer was, but
my
probably
answer wasn't that at all. Outside of her businesses, Kori's biggest accomplishment, because this is who she is as a person, but the fact that you were able to be so consistent, that's really an accomplishment, because being consistent is very hard. But she's not only consistent, but she was dedicated. So even if she didn't start these businesses, she knew that she had goals to achieve, and she made sure that she did her part. She did her due diligence to make sure, like, I'm going to get this done. So I would say that's your biggest accomplishment, is that you stayed true to yourself. That these goals that you were going to accomplish, you accomplished them, whether it took a year or 2 years. She been knew about Smudge years ago.
10th grade.
And here she is now. So the fact that you were able to envision something, a cosmetic line, and then actually accomplish that goal, I feel like that should really be an accomplishment outside of, college, because, some people graduate, some people don't, but it's the simple fact that you went. But, because my mom's always just like, as long as you try it, then make the decision whether you like it or not. But your consistency, your drive, your ambition, I would say that's really your biggest accomplishment to me,
Yeah, I feel that. Y'all, look, I wonder where it come from sometimes, but
your parents.
I'm like, I wonder where, where it all came from. But yeah, I can say that. Like I've never really had a point in time where I was just like so unmotivated, like I didn't want to do it anymore, or like I just wanted to really like actually quit, like actually quit. Because you can say you want to quit all day, but you just having a little temper tantrum, whatever. But like to actually go through the motions, I've never been there.
I'll show you how to do that.
Please stop. Please stop. Y'all, she really came through with the questions for me today. Boy, I was on the hot seat today.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Year 24. Cheers to 24.
Cheers to 24 years. My glass is empty, so cheers in your head, because both of our glasses empty. Honey.
Right. We made it through.
Ooh. Well, thank you for your questions. You did a very great job hosting today's episode.
I appreciate it. Until next time.
Oh my goodness. I might have to have her come around more often so she can be the host. Listen, hello. She can do it. Yeah. I guess that's it for our quote unquote topic, all about me. Devin, do you have any questions for me, or was that enough questions for me? Because I think I might have answered enough questions for today. Look, do Devin got any questions for us? Because if not, that's going to be the end of the show. That's going to be it for me. We about to go celebrate.
Okay, with some wings and some fries.
Y'all know I love a lemon pepper wing.
All flats. Well, me, preferably.
Please.
Kori doesn't discriminate.
I don't. Just give me the damn wings. I just want to eat them. I just want to eat the wings.
Okay.
What's your favorite birthday memory?
Oh, Jesus.
Huh?
Favorite birthday memory. Dang, that's a hard one. I'm gonna just say something recent because I don't got time to be going back in time. I'm gonna say my 21st birthday, when we, celebrated, did all that stuff, and then we went to California. That was like kind of like my first quote unquote big girl trip,
Mm-hmm.
And I loved LA. Like, I wanted to live there. It was just like one of my goals to really go there. I don't want to live there anymore, but I wanted to go there so bad. We went and it was great. So I'm going to say that was my favorite birthday memory. Specifically, birthday brunch. All you can eat, all you can drink was my favorite memory. Mm-hmm. And Devin knows what I'm talking about. Yep.
That was it.
Okay, great, because I can't handle any more questions. Jesus Christ. I can't handle any more questions. That is the end of the show. So, yes, you guys, we're filming this on a Sunday before my birthday. Don't know when this episode's going up. It's going to go up. Tell your girl happy birthday, okay? Made it through another year. So grateful. Last year, this time, y'all, all my birthday plans was getting canceled. We canceled all my plans.
Indeed. Still celebrated, though.
Still celebrated, very small, with about 5 people. That was not the plan, but we had to do something. So I'm just grateful, this year we have a little bit more knowledge on the situation and a little bit more comfort to, celebrate with our loved ones and our close friends. So, yeah. I'm grateful to be celebrating right now. I love you guys. I've been seeing, all the early birthday wishes and everything. So thank you to anyone that reached out to me. Make sure you go follow my girl Zarea on her social media.
Period. Zarea_K.
Period.
Same across the board.
Go follow Devin on his social media as well. I will have everything linked down below. Shop Smudge. Shop Crochet by K. Shop Crown Royals.
Period. Y'all see it.
I'm dead. Listen, just follow me on all my platforms. I always have everything linked down below. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning into this episode. And y'all, I will see y'all in episode 27.
Okay.
27. We getting close to 30, y'all. I'm getting low. Okay. I smell a celebration.
Oh.
Okay. Bye, y'all.
Adios.